Everybody, and welcome to yet another Enough Talk L5R video blogcast. My name is Jesse, and that is Paul. And look, there's a giant picture of a spider guy right there, which means we're doing spider.
It's the gigantic spider. It's killing you. It's awesome and
No, it's
evil.
not. It's the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
I always thought that spiders could get through water in some capacity. By the way, I never really loved that. But anyway, so we're here to talk about spider, and this is a really exciting time to be a spider player because they're really coming into their own. And I think you might find these in time which we haven't seen enough about where spider is dominating or really, really great like they were in the breeder days, but not sort of brokenly beyond repair. They're really moving into a cool place in the metagame. And I look forward to really exploring that over the next couple of new sets and ornaments.
It really is the final troll. So Spider, they act Shadowlands, and Shadowlands was in the game for what, like 10, 12, 13 years, something like that?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was going to say a dozen years.
And then they axe it, and they decide we're going to make this clan, and then the clan sort of flounders because it's either like bad crab or bad mantis or just bad.
Or broken breeder, that was a thing.
Or rattling.
Or Oni stuff, they were the Oni faction because it's they don't lose any honor from any cards, so just play Nuzlocke and Oni kind of stuff.
Right, and then they're just still Shadowlands. But
my favorite spider anecdote has to be the disastrous, and we talked about this in the podcast that never got up, but the disastrous last the 20th anniversary celebration party or whatever at the most recent Gen Con, where they gave away banners and there wasn't a spider banner because they'd only been around for 7 years or something, and that's just not long enough to have gotten your own dusty banner in the AEG. Which we look back on that was really this crap must go. We're selling the game party, right? You get a banner, get rid of that banner over there, and here's a bunch of products. Everything out, get it out.
It all makes sense. Yeah, we got this big warehouse.
Swords, throw them away.
We are legally unable to sell this in another couple days. Get it out the door. So yeah, Spider's finally coming together. Let's see why. Here's a cheap dude with some good stats and a battle ability.
Also a duelist, so this is if you want to build the duelist deck, you need duelists that do something other than cost 5 gold and make a fear to attack. That's a real problem they had, where there were duelists that made crappy fear effects. This guy mercifully just has an action that does something. Where it's here -3/4, and maybe get a cheap boost. That's a nice little icing on top of the cake. But this is exactly what you want for your sort of cheap duelist slot to fill out your duelist decks because he does something, right? And he's gonna probably.
Yeah.
Well, I don't -3/4, right? So I think you'll see this guy also in the sort of swarmy decks. The force is too low to make maybe Steam and triplicate, but 1 or 2 copies, so you can set up your Holy Strike type cards. I mean, he's a perfectly fine pillar piece. He's never going to be the big pillar upon which you build your deck, but he fits in as a role player in a bunch of little builds. So you gotta those arbitrarily large.
Maybe. I feel like we've seen this card before. There's currently a 4 gold, 3 force, 2 chi guy that gives battle -2 force. And he's already sort of on the fence cutting block for those swingy decks.
It's a property. So so you make him a duelist, so you up his chi but reduce his force. I understand this card. It's a little dull. It's not anything to be excited about, but he fits in a slot okay.
Word. Let's keep grinding. Daigatsu Endo. I love the original Endo.
Oh, I just did this because we love the original Endo, and so now Endo experience still destined, and now you can recruit him even if he's dead, that's what you did him before.
Yeah, okay. So it's a little worse. Before he was an open, so you could sort of buy him back at any time. This is more restricted, but you can potentially do this multiple times a turn if you can figure out something.
Even if he's dead, and yeah, that's pretty neat. I kind of like the flavor bits of the Zero Chi. He's a shambling corpse. He doesn't have Chi. He doesn't, he's a shambling corpse. The battle ability is crap. I mean, we can agree that. And giving your honor cards courage, I don't, whatever.
You mean the card is actually quite terrible. You're paying 8 gold. You're paying 8 gold for 4 points of stat, and that's it, and a fake card. But I like him because he's Endo. That's it.
still a fun attrition game of like Endo defends and he dies and I buy him back and I draw a card and then buy him again and yeah, okay. I don't think you ever actually play him. It's a fun sort of flavor card. Yeah, there's not a lot going on there. Does it bug you that he's non-human and like Voitagi is not? Does he really look that more non-human and
There's plenty we can play that game in lots of places. Like if undead have 0 chi, then why does Voitagi have 3 chi? Why is he non-human? Voitagi is he doesn't have an honor loss, but Voitagi does. They're both samurai. What's the big deal?
Yeah, you're. This is the sort of inverse. We've seen this other stuff where like crap into honor. This is like your honor cards are now courage cards because reasons, and we don't care, right? I mean, it's all just.
It is just totally ignore it, yeah. But this is like a combo card for a combo that will never come together, and that's a little bit sad.
And that's what the card we spot. It's like, okay, what can we do? Like, okay, we give him Paneki's mask, and then we give him an entering place. It feels like there might be something, but I think the way the rules and interactions work, I don't think there will be.
Yeah.
Not being destroyed for having, like, you can keep giving him minus G penalties to do something. If you make him a Shigenja and give him the 1 black skull, that's like, give your guy a minus G penalty token and then bow everything. For the soul or like there might somewhere down the line be some fun interactions with that.
Definitely in more open formats. There was the one spell that's like get a -1 chi and like take a follow-up action. So you just cast that and just infinitely take actions, whatever. And
so if you ever make cards that have give chi reduction as cost, you just keep giving them negative -1,000,000 chi and whatever.
Now, is he destroyed for having -1 chi? It says his text says he is not destroyed for having 0 chi.
I think -1 chi round up to 0 on this, but not the rules expert. Right? Okay, on to our next unique guy or next experience guy. This one actually unique. This is Daigatsu Yumi in one of his lamest forms. 6/2 for 9 with a Fear 4 effect that destroys Shugenja. I feel like this is like. Probably just give him a Fear 4. Like, that's not good enough. Let's just, like, where's my staple gun? Like, let's staple it out.
It's a flavor thing, right? So, because he's...
It's absolutely. Because there was a Yumi no Oni.
Yeah. There was a Yumi no Oni. But even Daigatsu Yumi EXP was like he was a house. He had a kill effect and, 9 force or something. So this guy has always been around. This guy has always kicked butt. But he's not so much here.
I mean, would it have been too much to destroy the card if it bows them? Like, that would have been too much on a 9 gold cost unique? I don't think it would have been.
Is he 6 force? How often do we see 6 printed force on a guy these days?
Ogrebushi, and that's about it right now.
Yeah, so that's also another 9 gold guy. And then this just has, like, a Fear 4 upside because he's unique, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we bellyaching about?
I don't know if I'm bellyaching. I want Emperor Edition Yumi. Is that too much to ask? Am I asking too much?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What if I want Yumi no Oni? Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
Okay, well, then I'm asking for too much.
Let's go on to the ninja. This is a guy, though. Like, the first guy we talked about, you said, like, he'd have some room in like a storm deck. Like this is the guy that's like gas. He's 4 gold, he's 3 force, and he's got a range 3 attack that can straighten from time to time. Like all kinds of good.
This is the rubber guy for me. This is the guy that really makes me excited about a bunch of my Spider Brews that I had sort of into Gen Con and post Gen Con, and they were very ninja based and had a bunch of stuff going on. And I was playing like the Lookout Follower and Kud Daikyu and shooting, and then I see this guy and I'm just like, this is everything I want in a card. And I'm not going to have any real great tournaments to play it in. We're going to play him a lot. We'll play him a lot against you. But I love this guy. It's pretty hard to complain. He even compares relatively favorably to like a Shio. Obviously, it's hard to do better than Shio. But this guy is pretty close.
He's close. I mean, same force, same chi. Not a Shug, which was always a good plus for me on Shiho. But you're right. The fact that he can still defend, bow, shoot a guy, like...
range 3, I mean, we've seen people spend a lot more gold for a range 3 attack, and this is a potential range 3 attack without bowing, which is just even better.
Yep. In conjunction with the Sam, we'll see the Sensei later that removes abilities, so there's like a setup-y thing there you can do with this.
There's other cards too that you can play, and so just really, really solid. Hard to be in any way unhappy with them.
But I really like this specific like thing they're giving to the Shadowlands ninjas. This like they care about having no abilities because it's just all upside. Like you blow up something and then like, oh, I guess I straighten now. And it's not like Shugenja where, oh shucks, I'm playing against Lion. There's no Shugenja targets. Like everybody plays vanilla guys with vanilla attachments.
Right, and I really like the idea of down the line of like I remove your ability with this, like I break you through the ferns to get rid of your. Now I shoot you, and there's a fun sort of I sucked out some of your essence and then I punish you further. Story play to it that I really enjoy. I mean, I think it's a really great direction for ninja, and then here's a sneaky lethal ninja, which is pretty cool because a lot of times your ninja don't have coolness. A lot of ninja are kind of lame.
Cheap and lethal, easy sell.
Yeah.
And here's another setup. So here's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is a sort of expensive one in the grouping. I'll let you go first. What do you think? You like Conqueror?
I mean, you said this guy's expensive. I actually don't think so. We actually have seen the vanilla crane guy. That's a 4-force Conqueror for 7 gold. Just there you go. Like that seems to be the basic stats for a Conqueror at this gold cost. And then he's got this open ability just tacked on almost for free in my mind.
I guess I mean, there's a bunch of, there are 6 gold cost, 5 gold cost Conquerors. Right?
Mine was 4-force though.
You referenced the crane one. Spider have the 3-force one for 5. I think a lot of Conquerors right now. You can think of, there's the Naval Kensei Conqueror and Spider. There's some 8 cost one in Crab and Unicorn. Oh, the big Crab, the 9 gold. So you're right. I 7 on the cheap end for the Conqueror keyword. I you are correct there. I'm just saying relative to deck gold cost.
Sure, but this is a really powerful, and this is the sort of ability that you read once and you're like, okay, whatever. But then you like sort of stop and think about it. Like, this is a really good ability. As an open,
it's awesome. It's really powerful. Now there's weird sequencing things where they have to do their limit and then they need to have one. But most people play personalities with abilities that do things. They play cards with abilities that do things. That's where a lot of cards get their value, right? Followers making ranged attacks and guys making melee attacks and all those kind of trigger things. And this guy is just great against them. And I think he's probably 3 of a lot of pretty much every Spider Ninja deck. And I think a lot of Spider decks
in general.
I think he's sort of people new Lions, right? The large cards and remove the things for it. This is just that sort of staple finale. It's not Hotara. It's not you can't perform or something, but it is as much as your opponent's game value because they have abilities. This guy his value can be eliminated those abilities, and disrupting your opponent's plans like that can be very powerful. We have all kinds of decks that are built around these, like KWOW this guy and a black guy, and I do, use and stuff, and just what two of these guys can completely shut all that down.
Yeah, Dynasty card. It's tough to generate Dynasty advantage in L5R. Like you win battles, and that's about it. Like cards, we don't really see a lot of killy effect cards. So there's one in this set, and even if they do exist, they're played in between. Like this guy is straight advantage because, like, say you have 3 guys and one of my guys is Torican and you have 2 guys, or you have 3 guys, and like I use my Torican and now it's like you have 2 guys because we go to battle and like you only have 2 actions on the table and I have.
And he always gets the best actions, which I think is really important. Because your opponent's gonna have a couple of really great haymaker cards, or a few cards that maybe a little strong. Imagine him playing against Mantis deck, and you have this guy and like an item on him or something because he's Conqueror and you pump him up, and they've got 1 or 2 guys that make range 4 attacks. Well, like you put range 4s down and leave them with the range 3s, and now they're struggling to hit your. The fact that he's disruptive in the best way is really great.
You're always going second. He also ensures Spider always have action. You just always have action. You're always the deck with more actions when you're playing this guy. You have your box as a battle action, plus you're removing 1, 2, 3 actions from their guys. You feel great. This guy's going to see all kinds of play.
Yeah, I think he's a home run kind of thing. probably be the rare, but I don't decide that sort of thing. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
On to our last dude, who's another non-humor. Ogre! Is an ogre!
Agree.
Big four, I guess.
You see, Paul, ogres are like onions. If you peel them open, they have layers.
Really? Is that okay?
So this is the Shadowlands entrant into the keyword game. Last set they did really good. Their guy was they cared about swords. This guy cares about heavy weapons, which is sort of a big miss.
So you give them ones is the idea, like his cheese, so they can't refuse the duels.
I guess he's actually really good in our like dually kill you deck because there's all the.
So we should talk about him. First, I think whenever you have a card like this, that's keyword game and interrupts and a lot going on, the first thing I want to do is he play him on his own, and I think this guy easily passes that test because he's 5 force for 7 gold with resilient, which we've talked about how much we don't really love it as a keyword. It doesn't come up. It's not as impactful as maybe you think it is. But I think he passes the sort of like this is a super below average numbers card that you're playing because of all the lines of text. He's okay as just like here's my body, right?
Yeah, well, the last part of it though is that the interrupt, even without any support, just says like you can't duel me, because like how many 5G duelists are out there? So like you go to battle and I try to duel, I just go, no, I use Force Strike.
Right, and that's my next point is that like the ability isn't just an interaction for proactive usage where you're going to give him, you know, a +3 force weapon and then play your battle one at a time to get one super awesome. It doesn't work off of repeatable. There's good you can do.
Hold on, I'm losing you.
A weapon.
Go again.
Yeah, like so there's a lot of fun ways to do this, like one at a time, plus 4, 8.
No.
Like once.
Connection shit. It's one of these days. It's been dicey the entire time. I've been sort of like hoping it was just good enough, but it's kind of not.
What do you want to do?
What can you do? I'm on VCAT off right now. Yeah, be sad. All right, try doing one more take on this guy.
Just start from the beginning, or I don't know where to start with him now.
Just start with the point you were making.
Okay. And that's my part about him that I like the most is that you don't have to work too hard to get it. Like that's a great interaction, and then you can go into the weeds and say like I'm going to use this guy with a weapon for like one lethal hit come one at a time in a deck that has really low focus. You're just planning on doing this in HE guy once as a sort of swappy thing. Well, it's super fun in Enlightenment, right? Where you can use him as like your I need to play Ring of Fire kind of card in any number of sort of Enlightenment builds. So there's a lot of fun proact potential to him, but where he's gonna own most of his bones is just like I'm a force efficient threat that is resistant to dueling, and that's a theme that is getting broader and broader and more common.
Yeah, dueling's super duper popular. Like lots of people are playing it, lots of people are splashing it.
Very fun card to have in the set. I like him with something like Clash of Blades. You like give him and play Clash of Blades on your turn to just randomly remove people's ability permanently. It's just a fun off kind of thing. So he's a really cool person. I'm really excited to see him in the card. I don't know how I end up sliding it into all my decks. He's not a ninja guy where it's like I really want this guy all the time. I want him all the time. But certainly there's an environmental configuration where this guy's just an all-star.
He is the Horde Longji too. We should talk a little bit about that. There's the one spell that says the guy is Shadowlands while you're taking actions.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I don't. It's getting pretty far into a very specific sort of deck that the only people to play are us.
Just saying.
Probably more so.
Just saying.
But I agree that we love Longji. We think he's a really powerful card. and that out. So, sweet.
Okay, so we got one more. Let's talk about the sensei, Goju Sensei.
Goju Sensei. I'm making thumbs up signs there. Go thumbs up.
There's a lot of text in the sensei, but it's mostly all good text. It's got the same -2 honor loss that we're seeing on all of these ninja senseis, the same one that's on the Scorpion Sensei. The big difference here, of course, is that this one does not give -1 gold like the Scorpion does.
Right. It does a thing with your box sphere effect, which is not, like, it's great.
Yep, it makes it a kill effect.
If you want to sort of dump in your slate of Magical Christmas, then there's a way to extract a ton of value from this card, right? So you're already playing Ninja because otherwise you have to pay more for your people. And so you play Goju Kimura, who's a really cool ninja guy. So there's a way to, like, use Kimura, use my Stronghold Fear effects to bow a thing to kill something, and then bow my Sensei, remove the fear effect that I've already used, and just get value off the wazoo in this card. Yeah. I think it's just really great. The only drawback is that, you know, you get penalized for your non-ninja people, but that's
one more gold is just completely irrelevant.
An easy pass now, really easy pass. I think this is, yeah, I'm going to call it. I think this is just the best sensei of the currently legal sensei, sort of 20 festivals and on. I don't even think there's much of a contest for it.
Let's try again. The Spider Stronghold's ability, the Fear 4, is not a bad ability. It's just a solid battle action. There's just situations where it's good and there's situations where it's bad. What I like about this sensei is that it lets you transform it into something that's just strictly better when you need it to be strictly better. Like, you look at the board and you say, like, does a Fear 4 effect help me? And you say no. Like, okay, well, let's get rid of that range 3 or whatever instead.
And it's a target card, which is really, I emphasize this just a little bit with the personality, but, like, cards in units, spells, shutting down followers, shutting down items, that's all really good stuff. Like, you know, the way games play out, there's a lot of value attached to the follower that you do the naval attack with, or they have 2 melee attacks that they're going to combine and you shut one down. So it can be a really disruptive element. And when you're playing a deck like Ninja where you're putting out force and you're killing things, it's just taking those actions away at the cost of a sensei is pretty great.
Yeah, and this sensei is a total slam dunk. And I think all the Ninja stuff in this set was a total slam dunk.
Yeah, I mean, this was a great set for Spider. You know, the duelist stuff is, I mean, they're throwing you a bone. They're saying, hey, like, we don't want to abandon dueling already. But the ninja stuff, I think, is really where you're going to.
I mean, the ogre is exactly where Spider dueling should be, flavor-wise, don't you think?
That's true as well. Yeah, and there's a lot of good options. You have different, really powerful directions to pursue. It's just all great. It's a really great time to be a Spider player. I can't think of any reason to not be happy as a Spider player in L5R. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I give him a 9 out of 10. This was just all kinds of happiness.
Yep, 9 out of 10. This was really great.
All right, guys. Catch you next time.